Good morning, everybody. Walking down to the beach here to get ready for the morning briefing. And can it be any more beautiful? There's just a slight breeze. The ocean looks pretty darn nice, and you can see that full moon that generated some grunion on the beach here last night. All right, I'm going to get ready. You know what time it is? Hang on, everybody. It's coming next.
Definitely did to me one time. I was being the last boat, you hurt yourself by saying too much on the radio sometimes. I had a great bite of yellowtail on the Avalon. They were really good fishing on the Avalon. And the Dipley came up. I was watching him through the binoculars, and I knew he was right where I wanted to be. And I said, God, I don't see anything going on yet. And he's not catching nothing. He gets on the radio and said, where's all these yellowtail at anyway? And I didn't even answer. I was kind of mad.
Yeah.
I didn't say a word. I'm watching the binoculars, and he sat there, a couple of yellowtail boiling. I'm looking right at him, you know, being anchored inside of him. And all of a sudden, he gave up and started to run out to go catch rockcod. He gave up, and I could see fish. As soon as he kicked the bait out, there was yellowtail boiling.
Oh, he didn't see that, obviously.
He didn't see it, and I didn't say a damn word. As soon as he got about a mile and a half,
you're pulling your anchor.
I pulled my anchor, and I couldn't get the anchor down fast enough, and we're bendo.
Just a reminder, everybody, you can help support the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel by buying some merch, like a hat or a shirt. You can do that by going to embroiderycreations.net. Really appreciate all you do for the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel. Thanks, everybody. There she is, the beautiful Independence here at 22nd Street Landing. They are still spiffing her up and getting her ready for her first trip of the year, which just so happens to be a Friedman Adventures 5-day trip, April 4th through the 9th. Still a little bit of room with phenomenal fishing going on. Man, I can't wait. She looks so beautiful sitting there. It just makes me want to take off right now. Independence, hope you can join us on another great trip. Take care, my friends. Hey, good Wednesday morning, my dear friends, and welcome to beautiful Surfside, California. It really is idyllic here this morning. It is gorgeous. It's cold, and that breeze is just starting to pick up a little bit, but look out there. She looks beautiful, doesn't she? It's a gorgeous morning with a full moon and a beautiful sunrise at the same time, and I don't know how you can beat this. Man, it may be springtime and early spring for that matter in Southern California, but we've got a lot to talk about. The bluefin tuna spotter plane for the San Diego sport fishing fleet is up and taking a look around today, so we'll see what they can come up with. I am anticipating some really great bluefin tuna fishing again here shortly. What shut our bluefin tuna bite down, and we were having extraordinary BFT fishing, was the weather. We got some very windy and rough seas, and that shut it down. Some guys tried to get out before that last storm, and they picked a few really nice big fish, but it was just too windy to get anything accomplished. We'll see where we head in the coming days. It's looking very, very good. We had some grunion on the beaches last night. That means some good halibut fishing for surf fishing guys. And also we've got the Friedman Adventures fishing trips where you can come fishing with yours truly and some of our staff. Man, don't miss out on those. Just send me a text here this morning and I'll send you the list. Very few spots available. Come on, jump on board while you can. 657-227-6459. We've got the Royal Polaris catching fish. We've got rockfish season on the horizon, and we've got so much more. You know what time it is. It's time for the morning briefing. Good morning, my friends. Man, I need this, let me tell you. Oh my God, kind of starting to warm me up a little bit. It's chilly down here, but it is so beautiful that you can hardly really feel the chill because of that beautiful Eastern Pacific laid out there behind me. Gorgeous morning, and so good to be with you all. If you don't mind, hit that like button, share these videos with a friend, subscribe to the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel, and tick that little bell. You'll be notified when there's new content, and there'll be new content tonight at 4 o'clock in the afternoon or thereabouts. We'll have Daniel Hadaway live from the Island Spirit out of Ventura Sport Fishing. Tune in you can ask Daniel a question and learn more about the Rockfish Opener and the upcoming trips this weekend. And of course, we have new content all the time. Tomorrow night, the Danny Cadota Show. Todd Woods, famous bass angler, will be joining me one of these days very, very soon, and so much more. So make sure you are tuning in. All right, let's jump across the border. We need to talk about San Quintin. We're down there 140 miles below the border. There has been some really great yo-yo iron fishing here over the past several months. It's been good. Yo-yo iron, a small heavy jig that you sink down deep, wind on fast, and you hook yellows by turning the handle, or any other fish for that matter, by turning the handle. Not by rearing back to set the hook, but by turning that handle. And it's been good down there. I mean, there's been 8 to 12 pound fish on occasion, but there's been a lot of that, I want to say 15 to 25 pound forkage down there, biting really well, along with nice big lings and plenty of rockfish. It's been outstanding. Now down there in the Ensenada area, which is only 70 miles below the border, and while some of the boats out of Ensenada are going south down to Punta Chino and Santo Tomas, areas like that, they've been catching really nice big bonita with some yellows mixed in with it, breezing on the surface. Sometimes it's yo-yo iron, but a lot of times it is surface iron. Sammy Susare was out yesterday and had a nice catch of big bonita with some yellowtail mixed in with it. And of course down there they can come up with copious amounts of colorful and great eating rockfish for each and every one of you. Foca is a guy that runs there out of Juanitos, Botes Juanitos, right there in the Malecon. And I think he's out this morning. We'll be checking with him to see if he can come up with any yellowtail. A lot of those yellows down there have been taken on trolled rapalas, but a lot on the yo-yo iron. And as I mentioned, when they're up on the surface chasing bait, you'll get them on the surface iron, and there is nothing more fun than doing just that. We'll continue to watch that south of the border for you, because I know a lot of you like to drive down there and fish, and also it's a preview of things that come to Southern California, and that is always great. Don't forget, it's tax season. You want to turn to a man you can trust, that I trust, and that is Tim Marquez, a best income tax. Give Tim a call today. The Royal Polaris has had outstanding fishing, and I don't know how it can get any better. They have had a wonderful long-range trip. They finished up, or actually, they're still fishing. They're headed north right now, but still fishing 160 wahoo, 171 yellowfin tuna, 7 of those YFTs over 200 pounds. They also had some reef fish, and you got Captain Roy Rose serving you a lobster dinner. I mean, you've died and gone to heaven on the Royal Polaris. Just a magnificent, great trip on the RP. All right, let's talk this bluefin tuna here in Southern California, because a lot of guys are setting their sights on that BFT for the weekend. It looks like we're going to have some very nice weather and then some breezy weather, but all of it will be fishable from the forecast that we are looking at. And there are several boats that are going to point their bow toward that fish and see if they can come up with some catches. As I previously mentioned, there's a spotter plane up that will help the guys with the intel. They kind of have a general idea of where that fish is, but that spotter plane dope will help them a great deal to get right on top of it. There has been daytime fishing, which means the kite has been effective, but also fly line bait with like 30-pound fluorocarbon seems to have been the most effective in the past, right? And there's been sinker rig fishing going on also, and there's even been some bluefin tuna taking on, the 120-gram Colt sniper type lures. That also has been pretty darn effective during the daytime. The better bite has been at night, and man, it has been so good on the big fish early this year. As you're looking at some previous photos of the Pacific Dawn and these big, giant bluefin tuna. I mean, 90 to 180 pound BFTs, really great bite. You'll get those 40 to 60 pounders, but there has been a really great show on the big bluefin tuna, which means 130-pound Spectra is a good way to go. 200-pound leader material. Jigs in the 2 to 300-gram range have been working pretty well, but that 400, even heavier than that, seems to have been the way to go. And with the wind and current that we've been dealing with, perhaps that is some sage advice to bring those heavier jigs along with you. Dropping when the captain tells you to drop, essential to your success, and dropping to the exact depth that he tells you to drop is perhaps even more important So make sure you have that colored line, that metered line that changes colors every 100 feet so you know exactly the depth you are at. And as I said, the weather should be fine. Now, that fish also that was off the bite during that inclement weather that we had a few days ago, a lot of guys were saying, I think it's squirreled out because of the full moon also. And as you go into a full moon, sometimes bluefin tuna get off the bite, but coming off the backside of the full, as we are right now, they turn back on. So fingers crossed that this thing is ready to go. And as we move a little bit further away from this full moon, it's going to get good. And man, I've got to tell you, our Independence 5-day trip, if the long range forecast for wind holds, we're going to have like 4 to 6 knots of wind offshore on April the 5th, our first fishing day. It's looking good, guys that are on that trip. Keep your fingers crossed as we move away from the full moon. There's a lot of big fish around, and now a weather forecast that's looking great for April 5th. And I know we're a ways away from that date, but things are really looking good right now. It looks fantastic. So good luck to all the guys who are going to go this weekend and get out and fish this bluefin tuna. Again, a lot of big fish, a lot of 40 to 60 pound, and you'll catch the majority of that in the daytime. It's at night when those big bluefin tuna show up and bite the jigs really, really well. And I know sometimes it becomes monotonous standing on deck. It's a little cold out there. Sometimes you have that breeze in your face, but putting your time in at the rail and being ready to drop when the captain tells you to can result in 180 pound plus bluefin tuna, pound bluefin tuna right here, right now. So hang on. And again, if you'd like to join us on our 5-day Independence trip, we sail April the 4th through the 9th. It is going to be a trip to remember. A couple spots left on that. You can see how to book right there. It's going to be really good stuff. So spotter plane going up, and we'll have more on all of that for you as we go along. Don't forget, if you have heating or air conditioning needs, there's nobody better than John Lopez at Efficient Heating and Air Conditioning. He's a great guy. Give John a call right now, and he will take really good care of you. All right, let's talk about what's going on here in SoCal in general, because we have seen some pretty darn good fishing going on. And again, we've got whitefish, we've got sculpin, we've got some halibut, and I see some dolphin playing in the surf behind me right now. Perhaps you'll see them in just a moment as they swim into the frame. And there is also quite a bit of bird life here this morning. Now, when you have grunion runs, you get a lot of that bird life, but I'm seeing a significant amount. I'm thinking surf fishing could be pretty good. But let's go back to what I want to talk about, and that is the occasional show of some big yellowtail down there in the La Jolla region. The new Seaforth has had a shot or two on those big yellows, primarily yo-yo ironfish, but be ready with your yo-yo iron. It'll make a big difference to your success. Now, most of the San Diego-based guys have been fishing wintertime bass, sand bass, and some calico bass, along with whitefish and sculpin. Yesterday, the Daily Double is a perfect illustration of that. Scott Butcher was in the galley cooking, but he said, Phil, pretty good sand bass fishing here, and lots of whitefish, so plenty of really good eating fish on board the Daily Double. Scott was on the Daily Double. Sometimes he's on the Mission Bell, sometimes he's on the Double. He's all over the place, that kid, doing a great job, and he'll be on our 5-day trip on the Independence, but he said some pretty good fishing. However, you are primarily catching that species. I would still bring my yo-yo iron rig, because there are some big yellows, and you can see those are nice big forkies. A lot of that 15 to 20 plus pound category fish. Same thing as we move you up the coast out of Dana Wharf, sport fishing. We saw good white fishing, some good calico bass fishing, a lot of that fish being released, and also some sculpin to go along with that. So some really excellent fishing down there around Dana Wharf. As we get you up here to the Long Beach, San Pedro area, we continue to pick away at the whitefish, the Pursuit. And man, is she spiffed up for the 2024 season out of 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro. They keep that boat looking so beautiful. And every time I see it, every year, I'm amazed at how gorgeous she is. At Catalina Island with Captain John Woodrum yesterday, he said it was a little bit windy, and that didn't help the situation. And April is normally a pretty windy month, but they picked a few calico bass over there, picked a few sheephead, had some whitefish. Pretty good action for the day there and hopefully we'll see more and more of that as we go along. And as the weather starts to straighten out, that bite will get better and better and better. And man, this looks like a really gorgeous day to me today. It is absolutely beautiful. Taking a look for the Long Beach-based boats, there's still good sheephead fishing, San Pedro boats, good white fishing going on, some sculpin to go along with it, and also some wintertime bass fishing as we await the April 1st Rockfish opener. Man, that is right on the horizon. Looks like we're going to have good weather for that day after we come out of a rainy weekend, and that is exactly what the doctor ordered. What a trip they've got planned for you on board the El Patron, headed out at 5 a.m. of Long Beach sport fishing, going to Santa Barbara Island, fishing late until 7:30 in the evening. That is going to be a trip to remember. Only 22 anglers. You better book right now. And I'll be on board the Island Spirit. We're going to host the Rockfish opener on board the Island Spirit out of Ventura Sport Fishing. I'll be shooting photos, taking video, and shucking it up with you. That should be a really fun trip. You book with Ventura Sport Fishing. Remember, if you book up there before April 1st, you get 20% off. You just have to, if you're booking online at venturasportfishing.com, put in preseason 20 and you'll get 20% off. And that goes for the rest of the year. But you got to do it before April 1st. You're going to run out of time. Or you can call Sal at the ticket office and just mention preseason 20 and Friedman Adventures. They'll knock 20% off your fare for the Rockfish opener and everything else for the rest of the year if you book before April the 1st. 805-676-3474. So we are totally looking forward to that. And again, Daniel Hottaway, the captain of the Island Spirit, right here, live with yours truly around 4 p.m. this afternoon. Can't wait to talk to Daniel and see what he is thinking about the situation. All right, Anthony Noy. He said, as he was collecting these grunion, as you could hear, you know, while you bums are out there sleeping, I'm out here getting my bait. And Anthony, I got to tell you, man, you were talking to me because I was too lazy. I've been kicking myself in the butt to come down here and look at the grunion, and I slept through it again last night. So, hey, I got to thank you for the great video and, you know, the intel letting us know that the grunion are indeed on the beach as the Pelican Patrol flies by. And that's a good thing because that just means the food chain is cranked up and headed in the right direction. And there should be some good halibut fishing here today. Perfect time to fish this beach in SoCal today would be, I think, if I looked at the high tide right, I'm going to say 9 o'clock until noon should be a beautiful time to be on this. And I might just come down here and do it. I've got some grunion from last year up there frozen. I might toss those out because you want to match the hatch. That's what all these fish are feeding on right now. So perhaps getting some grunion out there will work really, really well. There's also been yellowfin croaker, and there's been some good barred perch fishing. This water temp really took a dip on us. Got down into the 50s here after this latest blow. We'll see if it recuperates, but that should be good for barred perch, and there'll still be some good yellowfin croaker fishing. I like the halibut on these beautiful days like this, and especially with grunion runs. Man, that grunion comes on the beach and the predators are not far behind. So should be a really fantastic day. Looking forward to that. All right, gotta mention a guy by the name of Manny Munoz. Manny's a great kid. I actually taught with him in China, mainland China. He went to school with my son Patrick, and he has since relocated to Korea where he has been teaching for several years, but he hasn't lost his love of freshwater bass fishing. And he jumped into a tournament in Korea the other day, 48 teams. He jumped on a team and came in third place. Manny, beautiful bass, nice going. And glad to see you're not only doing well in Korea, but kicking butt on the bass fishing. He's headed back to Southern California. I should grab him and do a podcast with him really, really soon. Adrian Morales. Adrian, got to tell you, that is one nice flatty you got there. Excellent going, nice catch. I love seeing that kind of stuff. As the halibut bite, again, this year so far has been phenomenal. It's been absolutely fantastic. Christopher Hartwig was walking up and down the beach, and when all hope was lost, he hooked a nice big flatfish in the surf down there in the San Diego area and released it unharmed. So that is good stuff. Segue now into the halibut bite. The native sun should be out again today out of 22nd Street Landing. They've had a phenomenal year on halibut. this year as their derby continues until April 1st. Man, that went by fast. Those months just flew on by while they were doing the halibut derby thing. So they'll be out again. Their most recent trips have been a little bit on the slower side. We'll see if they can pick it up here and go out with a bang, because they've had nothing short of really phenomenal fishing. And remember, April the 1st is almost upon us, so you're going to want to get out on your favorite sport boat and take part in the rockfish season. That's going to be good. Don't forget Friedman Adventures fishing trips. They are so much fun, and you're invited. We've got 2 on board the El Patron in May, and then we've got a May 31st trip on the Island Spirit. Those are going to be phenomenal trips. And then we have a little bit of room on a beautiful reverse 2.5-day trip on board the Apollo in June out of 22nd Street Landing. That has got everything written all over it. I'm not kidding. Halibut, white sea bass, rockfish, yellowtail, and of course bluefin tuna. Wow, reverse 2.5-day trip on board the beautiful Apollo. Limited load, it's one you're going to want to jump on for sure. And then we have a fall trip on board the beautiful Amigo with Mark Paisano Jr. That kid fishes so hard. He is so much fun to fish with. You've got Mark Sonata and so many great crew members on board the Amigo, and then you've got Jason and George in the galley. They do a great job. Don't forget, send me a text right now and we'll get you signed up on a Friedman Adventures trip. 657-227-6459. Gonna be a phenomenal day today. Spotter plane going up. We'll learn a little bit more about the bluefin tuna. Weather, hold for us, man. It looks like the best weather day in the next week or so is April the 5th, our first day of fishing on that 5-day Independence trip. Wow, I can't believe how the weather gods are shining down on us right now. It's a long ways off. We'll see if that holds. In the meantime, with a beautiful sunrise, a full moon, and a gorgeous, beautiful Eastern Pacific, I don't know how to thank you enough for all the likes you've been giving us, for all of the love you've been showing us, really helping us to build to a crescendo here at Friedman Adventures with a lot more great content to come. Have a great day, my friends, and I hope to see you really, really soon. Everybody, you can help support the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel by buying some merch like a hat or a shirt. You can do that by going to embroiderycreations.net. Really appreciate all you do for the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel. Thanks, everybody.